Well, welcome back, everybody. This is our third. I want to say third. My mind's going numb. No, this is our second training recap from ISC West. So Mark Sterling will be presenting the training that we did at ISC on the new DSC Connect product. So we're just going to have two quick polls because Mark's got a ton of stuff to talk about. There are some handouts. So, if you find the handout section, there is the DSC Connect sales flyer and the DSC Connect installation manual are both in the handouts. But again, we'll do these two quick polls. Mark's going to talk about, DSC Connect. He's going to show you who won the IQ Wi-Fi 6s from last week. And we're going to give away, I don't know, Mark, how generous are we feeling today? I'm going to go 5 IQ water valves. We'll give away in this session as well. So we're just going to do these quick polls. And again, please do find the questions box, not the chat, find the questions. Let us know where you're calling from. We're very blessed today. We have Mr. Woodworth. Kevin is in the background helping with questions as well. So make sure you say hi to Kev. But we're going to get these polls going. And here we go. This is very simple. What are you currently using for a low-cost communicator? A couple different options: Alula, Izon, Napco, M2M, Telguard. If it's something other than any of these, again, in the questions box, just drop in what you're using. But I mean, these would probably be the big ones. But just let us know what you're using out there. A lot of people using Telguard for sure. Pretty even across the board on everybody else. Let's give that. About half of you have voted so far. I don't want to steal too much of your time, Mark. All right. So thanks for that. We're going to close that poll. And then this is a really tough one. Are you currently installing or servicing either Power Series, like Legacy Power Series, or Power Series Neo, or both? All right, lots of boths. Yeah, about 3/4 are both, which is awesome. We love seeing that, and we do love our Power Series and Power Series Neo. So I'll just give everybody a couple seconds there. And then I will hand this off to Mr. Sterling to entertain you for the next 45 minutes or so. All right, I'll close this off. Thank you for that. All right, Mr. Sterling, you might want to share your screen, and then I'm going to go turn my camera off and hide in the background. But let's make sure your PowerPoint shows up properly first. You're going to have to switch modes. You're in the other way. There you go. All right, I'm going in the background.
Perfect.
I'll let you know if anything comes up, bud.
Right on. So, like Neil said, we're going through the DSC Connect today. The part number is the LE4050M, M as in Mark, of course. That's why it was named that way. So first and foremost, wanted to go through the last week winners for IQ Wi-Fi 6. So the first winner we have is Christopher L. Not Christopher Lloyd, but you probably know who you are from last week. Connor P. Is up next, and then John R. So reach out to us, make sure that we have your appropriate address and whatnot, so we can get that shipped out to you. So kind of an outline agenda of what we will be going through today is overview first, feature set, and then we'll dive into the hardware and how easy it is and simple it is to get DSC Connect physically installed with the hardware. Then we'll go through getting started, DSC Connect application, and then DSC Connect installer, like the dealer portal side of things. Dealer portal there. So here's the overview of the system. So again, part number is LE4050M. It's an 4G LTE communicator that is 5G ready. So ultimately, it just needs a firmware update to support that 5G once we need to pivot and move that direction. So it's a multiple cell carrier support. Here in the US, it's either Verizon or AT&T. It's going to pivot to whichever carrier is best ultimately. And then our friends up north in Canada would pivot between TELUS, Bell, or Rogers for them. It is an eSIM that's dual, so no physical SIM card on board that needs to be installed. So super easy for that. You can use it with legacy Power Series or Power Series Neo. And I have some firmware and part numbers on the next few slides showing which firmware it's supported on. So at the core of this, we wanted to come out and launch a app that is ultimately simple, basic, easy to use, just arming and disarming. You can see in the history, as long as you have programming set up appropriately, when the system was armed, your panel programming, the call direction ultimately is what the terminology is called, needs to be turned on to allow openings and closings to be sent through, openings and closings, ultimately arming and disarming to be sent through and seen in the history. And I'll go through that a little bit more later. So how it works kind of today is, so on the top row, you have your Power Series Neo version 1.30 and higher would be supported with this. So you have your HS 2016, 2032, 2064, and 2128 are the 4 different Neo panel model numbers. On the last 3 digits, just as a reminder, signify how many zones that panel model number supports. The bottom row is legacy Power Series, so version 4.2 or higher, PC 1616, 1832, 1864. The last 2 digits of Power Series signify how many zones those panels support. So the communication flow starts at the panel, of course, and then it flows out through the communicator to the cloud. And then it goes to your central monitoring station automation platform and the DSC Connect backend and app at the same time. In the future, we will work towards the communication flow going to the cloud and then to your central monitoring station receiver on the Fibro protocol. So kind of diving into the hardware a little bit more. We have the antenna that has the SMA connector right there. It's a screw-in design, so super simple there. It's a 3-foot antenna. Actually has a magnet antenna style, so easy to knock out the knockout in the metal enclosure. And then, of course, you always want to do things by code, what the NEC requirements are. For the National Electrical Code. So you want to make sure to put that grommet in there in the knockout when you run that antenna wire through there. The antenna, since it's magnet, can easily just sit right on top of that metal enclosure. And then power on the terminal. So ultimately, this green terminal is really only utilized for legacy Power Series panels. You don't need to use the green terminal block at all for Neo panels. But of course, you have your power there, positive and negative. And then you have your yellow and green, that's your bus connection, where your arming and disarming controllability comes and where it can bypass sensor when need be. And then we have on the right, top right of this image, PC Link 1. That's a 4-pin header. So the 4-pin header is only utilized for Power Series legacy. There's a pre-made cable that comes in the box with the LE4050, and that pre-made cable just gets landed right there. Make sure your red wire is on the side that has the red designator on it, and then there's 3 white wires tied in with that cable. Now pivoting over to Power Series Neo, it's a 5-pin connection. You would use that same 4-pin pre-made cable with the red landed on the red side. And then there's actually a single 1-pin pre-made cable that would go on the far left side. And I'll show a wiring diagram here in a few slides going through that. But again, so for Neo, it's really only 2 wire connections, your antenna, and then the 5-pin connection. The 5-pin connection here does your power and communication. So the engineering team behind this is awesome. initially through beta testing and alpha testing, we did have to use the green connection to power up the Neo, but then a suggestion was made, hey, could we just power it right off of the PC-Link 2 header? Engineering team made that happen. So we always appreciate feedback, of course, anything that we can do to make our product better and easier to use. So please, if you ever have any feedback, reach out to your sales or TAM in your area. There is a green LED light that will be constantly lit up next to that SMA antenna. And then when traffic is flowing, you will see that green light start flashing periodically. Like if you arm the system right from the DSC Connect interface, then you will see that light flash. Above that antenna is the modem, 4G LTE cell communication, dual eSIM. And for those of you wondering the size of this module, it's the same size as the DSC Neo Zone Expander or Legacy Power Series 8 Zone Expander. So the footprint of it is pretty small, easy to get it installed right in the enclosure. So the initial setup and wiring again in a little bit more detail here. So these are kind of the what comes in the box with the 4050. So you have your communicator there, blue board, the 3-foot antenna is on the right side there with again the magnetic bottom to it. Your pre-made cables on the top left there with the white wires, red wire, and then it comes with a little piece of paper there that has the initial login information into the DSC Connect interface there. So you will also get a piece of paper that has that last line there. It has a serial number of the module and a config key. Those are very important to keep because you need that information to create the account in the DSC Connect installer dealer portal on that website. So with Power Series Neo, again, you have your communicator on the left side there, and kind of right in the middle there is your pre-made cable that would get hooked up right to PC-Link 2 header on the Neo panel, and then PC-Link 2 on the communicator. So pretty straightforward with that connection. As far as programming goes, it's again pretty simple with programming. You need to disable your telephone line monitor, TLM. That's found in section 015, option 7. Ultimately, with that turned on, that's looking for voltage on tip and ring, which is plain old telephone line setup. So obviously, we're not needing that for this setup. And by the way, the LE4050M is a cell communicator only. There's no Wi-Fi or hardwired Ethernet connection today. You would also need to go into section 300, set receiver 1 to your alternate communicator, an auto. 310, section 310, subsection 00 is where you'd want to input that central station account number. And then any subsection in there, 001 for partition 1. So any partition that you utilize, you'd want to enter in that account code in each partition as well. If you want to see in the history the activity of when the system was armed or disarmed, and this is an optional setting, maybe somebody doesn't care to see that per se, but in section of 311 to 318, ultimately that's a partition 1 through partition 8. Then you can turn that on in subsection 003, option 1, set that to Y, and now your history in the app will be able to see, hey, at this time, with this timestamp, it was armed or disarmed. The last programming section here is 382 option 5. You need to set that to yes to turn on the alternate communicator. As we look at power series now, you can see that green terminal block there. So you need to hook up 4 conductor wire, 2 for power, that would go into aux positive and negative right on the panel itself. And then you have your yellow and green that gets hooked up to the bus for your communication. Arm and disarm communication kind of flows that direction there. Now, power series, there is a little bit more programming to go through. So kind of jumping in there. So again, section 015, option 7 would need to be toggled off to disable that TLM. So it's not going to throw a trouble condition up for that. In section 301, that's where typically for plain old telephone line systems, you type in the phone number there. However, we don't need to see that since we're using a cell communicator. So you can just make sure it says DCAA and then all Fs after that in that section. In section 350, this is where you would make sure to set your communication format between either SIA or contact ID, whichever your preferred method is to utilize. In section 351 and 372, 376, this is different call directions for reporting codes and whatnot. So if you want certain things to get sent through to the central station, just make sure to look at those programming fields and toggle them on for the relevant sections. Alarms, obviously you'd want to turn those on to send those through. In section 380, this is panel communications. So you'd want to make sure to turn that on so communications can flow out. 380, option 381, option 3, and option 7. Ultimately, you'd want to set those to off position. And this is also dependent on section 350. If you turned on SIA or contact ID, then look at section 381, option 3 and 4 for auto reporting codes. So if one of those in 381 is set to on, then it will ultimately, you have to manually type in the reporting codes. So old school style there for entering in reporting codes, drilling into programming fields. 382 option 5 again does need to be turned on in power series for your alternate communicator. 383 option 7 and 8 also need to be on. And then section 406, set the number of rings to 001. Any questions at all, Neil, that are coming up that might be pertinent to things?
No, it's been, I think people are just engaged and enthralled with your wonderful presentation. That is not overly busy, but I'm knocking on wood.
Very good. Well, thank you. So if you guys want to get the IQ installer interface downloaded, you can scan one of those QR codes depending on which type of phone you have. If you have an iPhone and maybe you're not familiar with QR codes, you can get the camera app pulled up, scan that QR code, and then there'll be a yellow bar kind of at the bottom where you just touch that and it pulls up the App Store where you can download it. I imagine Android phones are the same way, but I don't have an Android phone. Of course, you can download it later on too by just searching the App Store's IQ installer, sorry, not IQ installer. IQ installer is next week. This is DSC Connect. So kind of installing DSC Connect, download and install it from one of the app stores, read and approve the 2 permission requests that pop up, so you get the ability to have the notifications that you want. And then you'd sign in with, of course, the username and password. There can be more than one login to that specific account and panel, so you could have multiple users using the same panel to arm and disarm. And you can also link up multiple panels into that same kind of login. I'll show that a little bit later too. There's kind of a hamburger symbol you can touch in the top left corner, and you can toggle between different systems. So kind of navigating the home page, you can touch the status of the partitions. Apologize on this video. The video here kind of goes quickly. I can go back and then forward again to show you. But here you can arm and disarm the individual partitions. Tapping the gear icon opens the settings menu. And then you can tap on the partition, which allows you to see the sensor status. If sensor's open, you can tap on that sensor to bypass it. And then you also have an events button at the bottom that shows the history. Let me go back and forward so you guys can see that video again of it. There's a star icon at the bottom that kind of gets you back to your home page. And then there you can see you can bypass the sensors by toggling them if you need or want to do that. So again, pretty easy arming and disarming options there. Straightforward with that. Tapping the hamburger symbol on the top left, you can see those different accounts that are attached to that login. So arming and disarming, so it's an easy touch in the center, swipe to the left to arm it away, or touch in the center, swipe to the right to arm it stay. We also worked with the team, and they were able to make it so that if you touch and hold on either the lock symbol on the left, so just touch and hold for a second and a half, maybe a second, then it will start to arm away. Touch and hold on the home button, and then it will start to arm stay. So a couple different use cases there for how people can arm and disarm it. So at the bottom there, you can select view contacts, and that's going to be your dealer contact information. So that would be pertinent information about who the end user can reach out to. Maybe your service department phone number and your service department email address might be good to put in there. And another really cool thing you can do is you can actually upload custom logos into the app. So you can put your own company security logo in there, Sterling Security or whatever your company name is. To update the system status, so maybe you have the app opened and somebody at the keypad arms the system, so the app is not going to actively update that right away since you already have the application open. So you can just touch the screen and swipe down to kind of refresh the system status. Or there's also the circle in the top right that's got the two arrows spinning around. That's also a refresh button. So tapping the partition you wish to select, you can drill into that partition and you see all of your zones again. Straightforward with that, bypass zones, arm and disarm that specific partition that you just entered into to kind of drill in another layer down into it. There you can see the yellow icon, front door was bypassed. And then you can unbypass a zone with the same steps of toggling that back. So kind of navigating partitions, here you can see the main house partition, area 2 partition is the label there. Pretty easy. Ultimately, that star button at the bottom of the screen is your home page. So a system could have, say, 4 partitions in it, but your home page is only showing 2 of those partitions. You can always hit the 3 lines in the bottom right corner, and you can say, hey, I want to see all 4 partitions. So you can hit the star next to all 4 partitions to make them seen on your favorites, your home page. So the history, bottom center there, you can see it's got a blue circle there with a 2. If we tap into there, you can see disarm and main house, whatever that partition is labeled, that's going to be posted there on that timestamp. Panel programming change, there's a medical alarm, so alarms are going to be listed there too. You can use the filter at the top. Hey, sort by this date and this date based upon alarms. So drilling into device settings here, gear on the top right corner. And then you can see your different menu structure here. You can name the panel. This one's DSC Connect system. Then you have notifications, remote panel control. Here we're seeing that you can change the name to Sterling Home or whatever makes sense for that location. So ultimately that name is for the end user side of things only. Once we drill into the kind of dealer portal, there is a label that you guys can change from the dealer side that makes sense to you. Maybe you have a numbering logic that you want to put, or whatever makes sense to your company. Then we also have the ability to set up push notifications. So you drill into notifications there, my notifications, iPhone is set up there, and you can say, hey, I only want to get alarm push notifications. So then you can toggle off trouble and info. And then also email notifications can be set up. So same area there, settings, notifications, and then email, add email notification. So you can have multiple users entered in there. I think you guys get that there. Navigating the remote panel control, you could disable somebody from having remote ability to arm and disarm if somebody doesn't want that. But I mean, the core of this product is giving the ability to arm and disarm remotely. So the home page after you disable that becomes the history page. So no longer have access to arm and disarm. You'd have to drill back into settings and toggle that back on, and then the arming page will come back for you. Adding in additional app users. So again, settings button, app user, and then add a user in there. And there is a add existing user, add current user. So add existing user is like, hey, I want to pull a user over from another account that that I can see, maybe a secondary home, that there's a user on that system. Let me add that existing user into this current account that I'm looking at right now. Alarm panel users. You want to add a user code into the panel logic. So you can drill in here, add user, and then type in the 4-digit code that you want for them. Authority level, arm and disarm, bypass ability. Do you want to give them access to all partitions? So just enter in the pertinent information there. You also have the ability, of course, to change labels around. Label the different partitions, mother-in-law suite, MDU, or maybe the business name, warehouse and offices, something like that to make it so that you know which partition they are. So kind of drilling into DSC Connect installer. There is a mobile app that can be used. So you can see, look up that specific account, device filter. The top left is the hamburger symbol to search for which account you want. The top center there, you can see 29 right above those green bars, 29 out of 31 for the cell signal strength. And it's using the Rogers cell network. And then let me go back and forward again to show you that again. At the top center, it was showing the voltage input, so it's 13.72 volts coming into the panel. So right on that main page, again, you have your device name, device detail, what firmware version that LE50 4050M is, so the DSC Connect version. And updates will just kind of automatically go through when needed. You also have events on the bottom right corner where you can see the history a little bit in there. New events will be kind of highlighted in yellow. There's also a filter in there. Then you can access settings for that account and change around device details for different labels if need be that make sense to you guys. So kind of drilling into the dealer portal, you do get more functionality through the dealer portal side of things than you do with the DSC Connect installer app. But ultimately, kind of the first thing that you guys would want to do, getting set up and registered to become a DSC Connect dealer, is go to connect.dsc.com. And then right below the login information, right below the blue login button, there is a link there that says no account. Click here to register. So you click right there. You would want to have ideally your preferred central monitoring station, know what that is before getting registered. And then there is a dealer code to get from Central Station. And Central Stations are very familiar with this kind of back end. So if you ask them what your dealer code needs to be, then they should be very familiar with what to give you for that. And it's going to be unique to you guys for the dealer code. So again, click on that link right below the login button. It will take you to this page. First and last name of your, ultimately this is creating your admin account for the back end. So your person you want to be the admin, first and last name, email address, and then username, company name there, business address, and then country, phone number. So pretty basic stuff here. And on this screen, it's not, you don't have to have the preferred monitoring station selected right at this step, but in order to even set up a communicator within the dealer portal, you have to have it tied in with a central monitoring station. So you will not be able to add DSC Connect communicator without, it is pertinent to get set up with a monitoring station in order to create an account, is my point. So, and then at the bottom, type in your password that you want to use for that account. Make sure to check the box that you're not a robot, unless you are for some reason. And then check the box that says I accept the privacy policy, and then register. So how to get logged in, type in your, so after you select that, or after you register on that page, you will get an email, and you'll need to confirm that email. Once you confirm that email, then you can come here and log in. Once you get logged in, there's really only 3 tabs. So devices, change log, and monitoring stations. So first and foremost, you would drill into monitoring stations because you need to set up that central station first and foremost again. So there's a long list of central stations that are already partners with this backend. So make sure to see if you can find yours in that list. If you can't find yours in the list for whatever reason, reach out to one of us. We can help orchestrate to get that on there and make sure that the central station gets added if they have the appropriate things necessary to make it work. And most central stations do have what is needed. So you click on that add reporting channel, and then this box will pop up. Search for the central station. Then find the one that you want, select that. And again, this is where you would need your dealer code from the central station. So you type that 4-digit code in there, and then you click add. And right when you click add, it will actually send an email off to your central station like, hey, so-and-so security dealer wants to get activated with DSC Connect. So they do have to approve you to make sure that you are an actual security dealer in the industry. So right when you submit that, it will say the status of pending back on this monitoring station's homepage. Once they approve you, then the status will switch over to say like something like active in there, or enabled. I think it says enabled. Here on the far right, app branding, that's where you can click add, and you can add in your security logo to show up right in the DSC Connect app. So once you get the monitoring station enabled, then this is where you can start to add devices in. So you can go to the devices tab, add new device right there with the red box around it. And this is where it's pertinent to have your serial number. It's on the piece of paper that comes in the box with the DSC Connect communicator. So serial number you'll type in. So right when you click add new device, this box shows up on the right. Select your monitoring station, and then serial number is what you'll type in there, 7-digit, and then the config key as well. That bottom box there, cellular service, monthly billing, that's kind of hard coded to select from monitoring stations. So you will get billed directly from your monitoring station. And by the way, I'm sure everybody's like, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? Reach out to your central station. They have that information. They ultimately are the ones billing you. So you need to reach out to them to hear what the price is.
So how much does it cost, Mark?
Right?
Right. We have one question that's a good one. Any compatibility any compatibility with existing TL280s? So if they already had a TL280 on the system, could you have both?
So this gets connected up to the PC Link 2 header, and you can only have one communicator hooked up to that. The TL280 also gets hooked up to the PC Link, so you cannot have both communicators working at the same time. You'd have to pick and choose one.
I had to save a question just to ask you something.
Very good. So once you get that that communicator added in, the LE4050M, you can see it listed there. You have the ability to filter and find accounts. The more you get added in there, then you can search by serial number. On the far right is where you have your device name. So that can be changed, and that's for you guys only in the dealer portal. So you can put something unique in there that makes sense. Maybe you want to name it the business name or the last name of that homeowner. It's totally up to you guys, whatever you prefer for that. But yeah, account number will be listed here, the account number utilized with Central Station 2. So a lot of different fields and whatnot. Connected's gonna show, ideally it would show yes if it's connected. Maybe it's the panel's powered off and whatnot, so then it would say no, it's not connected. So that's a good field to always go through and look at if you're trying to maybe help a customer for troubleshooting why the system's not working. Here under the device status, you can see it's been suspended as well. So maybe that end user is moving or something, and so the account's just suspended temporarily. If you double click on that line that shows the communicator, then this dialog box appears where it kind of drills in to show you a little bit more information. Account name, again, that is unique, where you guys can type in whatever makes sense to you guys. The version of that communicator, you have advanced actions, advanced settings. We can drill into some of that here in a second. But also on this page, you see this one's connected to the Rogers cell network, and it looks like it says 27 out of 31. That might be 29, but I'm pretty sure that's 27. And then the AC power voltage input is listed there at the top, similar to what shows in the DSC Connect installer app. You have an actions button right here that gives you a little bit more insight to do some certain things, suspend an account if you need to do that temporarily, reactivate an account, things of that nature. The third tab is your change log. So that will show you a history of everything that has been added or deleted or changed around within your dealer portal. So gets pretty granular there with which logins we're doing what. Here we have some technical support information. So DSC website, dsc.com. The Qualsys YouTube channel, we post a lot of videos on there. We actually have some smart skills centered around DSC Connect, some short little video clips. There's several videos on it. They were added within the last week or week and a half. So go to the Qualsys YouTube channel and see that. DSC technical support email and phone number is there. And by the way, that email address, intrusion-support@jci.com, is both an email address for Qualsys and DSC. And DSC Connect technical support is the email address there with Connect24. And then there's the phone number to get to Connect24 DSC Connect technical support. Dealer sales support also right there. Any other question? Neil, I can't hear you if you're talking.
It's like Big Brother just showed up.
Oh. Hello. Hello.
There's a lot of questions about, can we upload, download a panel? I've already answered them all, but there's tons of questions.
Yes, it is possible. It kind of gets into the weeds a little bit. So you can use DLS5 remotely. There's kind of a separate client to get downloaded. I would say reach out to your TAM, your local TAM, and they can help work with you on that. And if you don't know who your TAM is, please chat into us. We'll get back to you with who your local TAM is in your area. So.
What else we got? Who is the TAM for 92507? I don't know, Corey. Like, I'm from Canada, man. I don't know what zip code that is. We'll figure it out. We'll reach out to you. 92507. Oh, you know that one, Mark?
Riverside, California area, Southern California. Freddie Amarella.
Freddie Amarella, yep. And who can train us on DSC? David on DLS. That would be Adrian. Reach out to him.
Very good.
Can we limit what users can see? No. There's no filtering like where you could say a user can see this, that, or the other thing. No. I think yeah. So we got them all, Mark. Look at that, 45 minutes. I said 45 minutes. All right, well, we are back next week with Joel doing IQ Installer, and there is an after workshop survey, so please, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you'd like to see in the future. If we did not get to your question, but I think we did, but if we didn't get to your question, I will download the report later, and we'll reach out and we'll answer your question offline. Thanks again for attending. We truly do value your feedback on these sessions. So please do fill out that survey, and we'll see you next week for IQ Installer. I think you definitely want to attend IQ Installer. If you haven't been on the last few sessions, IQ Installer is coming to all IQ panels in about 30 days. So you definitely want to get a deep dive onto IQ Installer. All right, well, thanks everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day. For the Canadians, enjoy the May 2-4 long weekend, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.